ROFFS analyst James here, and it is currently August 1st, 2023. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Today we will be taking a quick look at the ocean conditions that you likely would have encountered if you went offshore this past weekend, from Cape Hatteras down to the Florida Keys and in the Bahamas, using sea surface temperature and ocean color imagery from last week. Overall, sea surface temperature throughout the southeast has risen by 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit, while the main body of the Gulf Stream has remained relatively constant at approximately 87 degrees. With this in mind, we have observed main loop current water pushing into the Straits of Florida, shown here. The SST of this loop current water entering the Straits of Florida to become the Gulf Stream is slightly cooler than the surrounding water, especially that of the warmer water moving offshore of the ledges west of the Florida Keys and Dry Tortugas. As you can see here, this water moving offshore. However, we have also observed cooler water moving northeast from the northern coastline of Cuba along the eastern side of the Gulf Stream, shown here, as it passes the Cay-Sal Bank and approaches Bimini. Looking at the water off of Tampa and Fort Myers, we have observed a counterclockwise center of rotation or eddy formation, shown here, over top the Howell Hook Ridge. Several filaments of warmer, bluer water have pushed inshore the ledges west of Fort Myers and the Dry Tortugas over the past several days, before moving back to the northwest along the northeastern side of this oceanographic feature. This likely improved chances for offshore billfish fishing west of the Tortugas. However, a lot of this warmer water has recently started pushing into the Florida Straits as well, as shown before. This will likely dominate some of the upcoming eddy formations developing off the Florida Keys and working along the eastern coast of Florida over the next few days. Heading north, we continue to observe several of these larger eddy formations moving northwards along the western side of the Gulf Stream. As you can see here, as they approach the Charleston Ridge, these eddy formations help keep the northwestern side of the Gulf Stream further offshore of Cape Fear and Cape Lookout, as these eddies hit the Charleston Ridge right about here and move offshore. Switch over to the ocean color imagery. We can see some of these features in ocean color. As you can see, the loop current moving into the Florida Straits with the warmer water moving back offshore west of the Dry Tortugas, and these eddy formations moving northwards and hitting the Charleston Ridge and moving offshore towards Georgetown. Now we can take a look at the Bahamas. We have observed a clockwise center of rotation off Walker's Key that has pushed much of the warmer water of the eastern side of the Gulf Stream offshore to the north. This warmer water moving this way as a counterclockwise rotating eddy has developed over the past few days. This counterclockwise rotating eddy formation has begun moving northwards over the past few days as well. And this has begun pulling the eastern side of the Gulf Stream boundary further east, offshore of Cape Canaveral, as shown here, and likely further east to the north as this eddy continues moving northwards. The same could be said of the eastern side of the Gulf Stream off of Cape Fear and Cape Lookout, as this warmer water pushes northeastward as well off of Cape Fear and Cape Lookout. Further east in the Bahamas, a clockwise rotating eddy formation off of Abaco and Eleuthera, shown here, has been observed pushing some warmer, bluer water into Palmetto Point. You can see this bluer water moving right into here, as well as a counterclockwise rotating eddy northeast of Abaco. This counterclockwise rotation has been observed pushing in bluer water into the Abaco canyons to the northeast of Abaco off of Elbow Key. Some of this warmer, bluer water has been observed passing the southern tip of Abaco into the northwestern Providence Channel. Remember, these ocean conditions are always changing, So be sure to head to ROFFS.com or call our office at 321-723-5759 to order updated analyses for each of these areas. Our summer office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 7, and Saturdays from 9 to 4. Have a good week.